Greetings all, this is Precious, the new Jamaican. We have been here for 7 weeks. We have internet and a new car. I want to tell you about those experiences. Stay tuned. Well, I mentioned in a previous video that we were getting internet. We had already gone to the Flow office. Flow works better in this area to set everything up. And I want to say that the day that I was recording that, we finally did get a call from Flow arranging for the technicians to come out. And they came out probably about a week after that call with Flow. So as it turns out, what Flow offers is you can get a service where you just get the router, and or you can get the router where it is set up through your landline. Flow also offers like fiber optics, but that's not available in this area yet. A lot of parts of the island they do have fiber optics, but we don't have that in this area. What we ended up getting was a router set up through our landline, which was already through Flow. So that worked out in our benefit, to our benefit. Um, we got a bundle. There's several bundles that you have that they offer in this area. If you do not have some kind of cable or anything, you're only going to get one of two stations, either TVJ or CVM. We actually only get TVJ on if we want to watch television, and it's really grainy. Sometimes you can't see anything, and if it rains, don't even think about it. But if you get a bundle through one of the internet providers, I'm told that the internet I mean, the television is really good, cable and all that jazz. We don't watch that much television, so we didn't do that option. What we did get was a bundle through our landline, so it included unlimited local calls. It included the internet, and it included a couple of apps, three apps actually, some kind of like Flow Sports. I don't care about that. My husband did download that app onto his cell phone. He said it buffered a lot. We get another app called Curiosity Stream. I have watched a couple of videos on there. They're all documentaries. It was wonderful. And we get an HBO app. It's not just through your phone. You can log in through your on your computer and whatnot. So that is the bundle that we have. You cannot get a bundle with Flow, and I'm assuming it's the same with Digicel, if you do not have a landline. They do offer bundles where you get your landline, your internet, your cable TV, and additionally a cell phone line if that suits you. But if you only have a cell phone line, no bundle packages are available to you. So with the bundle that we got and the internet service that we got, again, it's not fiber optics. It's really good. And you know what? It is faster than what we had in Chicago. It's way faster. There was a little bundle we could have gotten that's a little less than what we currently have. It didn't have any apps and the speed was not as fast, but we ended up not getting that one. And then, of course, there are other bundles that you can get that include cable, like I said. But yeah, it's really good, surprisingly good. I feared that it was going to be similar to what we had in Ghana. Now, granted, Ghana was some years back. I don't know how much things have changed there, but yeah, the internet was really bad. You couldn't upload or download anything without burning up all of your credit, and you had to get things via credit. This is like unlimited. I tell you, it's better than what we have in what we had in Chicago. It is much better. Um, Now, I know someone who has the service with just a router. They complain a lot that the service is down a lot. It doesn't work as well. Their power strength is not as strong as ours. Even when you're in proximity to the router, it just doesn't work as well. I have heard others complaining about the internet constantly going out. We haven't had that experience, thank goodness, but it's been very, very, very good. I'm very pleased with it. Um, I don't know how well it's going to be when we build our spot, but it may be better because by the time we build, they may have fiber optics in the area. So it may be very well. I don't know. But yeah, I think you would be very, very pleased with this. One of the things we were concerned about having the router connect through our phone lines is when we live stateside and we would call Atlanta, call Jamaica, either from Chicago or when we lived in Georgia, the phone would ring a lot, it just wouldn't pick up. And so we assumed that that was because the phones can go down in Jamaica a lot, particularly if there is severe rain or even if there's just a little rain. And turns out that really wasn't the issue. The issue was not the phones, the issue was people using the phones. That's another story. But just as an FYI, I don't know whether it's something to do with flow. I don't know whether it's something just in this area. But just be aware that if you are calling a landline here and they're on the line, you don't get a busy signal. The phone just rings and rings. So when we were stateside and we were calling, thinking the phone was just ringing and ringing, no one would pick up, we were thinking that the phones were down. No, someone was just using the phones. Someone who should not have been using the phones. But we straightened that situation out. Anyway, but I think you would be pleased with the internet if you get Flow. I'm sure Digicel is probably just as good. Again, I believe depending on where you are on the island, one service works better than the other. Flow is great for us. We enjoyed it. Now, as far as cost goes, the bundle that we received, like I said, is unlimited phones, local calls, the internet, and a couple of apps. We pay about 5,000 Jamaican. The GCT is really high, so tack on another 1,000 to that. So we're paying about 6,000 Jamaican. So that's what you keep in mind, what you would need to be dishing out monthly if you get that kind of a plan. Of course, if you go lower, I think the lowest plan I saw for a bundle was about 4,000 Jamaican, something like that. So again, with the GCT, it's going to be about 5,000 total, something like that. So keep that in mind. And of course, if you go higher and get some of the cable channels and all that, it's going to be more. So I think you will enjoy it. I think you'll be very, very, very pleased with that. So that's the internet. Now on to the car. Okay, so it's not a new car, but it's new to us, and that's great. That's what we wanted. So this experience, getting this car, was something else. I know that I mentioned that when we started us putting out feelers about getting a car, that we're talking to a lot of friends and acquaintances. People told us to check the Sunday Gleaner, and you would see, tons and tons of ads for vehicles. That's actually not really the case anymore. Um, that was the case at some point in time. The main places that we saw ads, and I mean plenty of ads, is on the internet. We use two sites, mainly one, jamaicars.com, and jcars, jacars.net. you can, both those sites are really, really good. They had tons of cars, and trucks and all that. They had filters, how you can, whether you want to search cars by a make, model, engine size, even color, and put in your your year range of how old the car you want it to be, how new, your price range, so forth and so on. We found tons and tons and tons and tons of vehicles. Now, on both of those platforms, and they sort of work interchangeably because we mainly use jamaicars.com, and we saw a lot of ads. They had a stamp on the picture that said jcars, jacars.net on it as well. So they use the same platform. And we found that importers, dealerships, and individuals place their ads on both of those websites. We also found that through, I don't use Facebook a lot, Facebook Marketplace, um, people sell cars on like cell phones and stuff on Facebook Marketplace. So that's another place that you can look for cars. So one of the things that we were concerned about, as I mentioned, was that people were telling us that, hey, if you buy a car from an individual, you want to make sure somebody's playing the music really loud. You want to make sure that you do the exchange at a police station, which of course was really, really, really unsettling. And I'm actually going to pause for a minute because this person is really playing their music loud. So he turned off his music, at least for now. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, it was really unsettling to have people tell us that if we, buy from an individual, make sure you make the exchange at a police station. It's like, oh, jeez, I don't want to go through that route. So we had decided that we would go either through an importer or through a dealership. Well, um, the importer thing. Now, maybe it was just the ads that we saw. These importers would place these ads. They would, have these cars. They would tell you the amount of the car, and they would tell you what it all included. The car, it would say all the paperwork is done, and to import the car in, that included, this price includes, the paperwork, the this, the that, the da 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 da. Then we would contact the importers, and this was several importers. None of that was true. The price was the same price, but it only included the car. It didn't include any paperwork. It didn't include any, yeah, whatever it took to import a car in. It's like, dude, just be honest in your ad, dude. And then also, no importer actually have the cars here in Jamaica. They're still in Japan or wherever they are. Most of them, I think, are coming from Japan. So that was going to be another 6 week wait. And then have to do the whole importing of the cars and going to the port without, and you all know where we are with respect to our shipping container. So the last thing I want to do is have this process, do it twice. Um, so we just decided to forego the importer thing. If they had a car here already, then maybe we would have gone that route or whatever. But no, we decided not to do that. So then our next option was to, of course, go to a dealership. The thing is, without having a vehicle, that became difficult unless you have somebody to drive us around to all a bunch of these dealerships. That was just going to be kind of difficult for us to do. So I was glad that many dealers advertise on these same Jamaicars, the ja.net. And so we, after searching and searching, we couldn't get the pickup truck, so we had let that whole idea go. We found a car at a dealership that we thought, this is great. Well, we also found an individual who was selling the same make and model. The individual was maybe a year older, a year newer. Now I can't remember. But the engine was bigger, and it was a different color. But it was the same car. So we kept them kind of on the back burner. We actually contacted this person first, even though we were kind of leery about the whole buying from an individual thing. But you know, hey, you have to just go with the flow. You go with the situation that you are in. Um, so we talked to that young man. We said that we were actually going to be in Kingston because this is where this dealership was, and he said that he would be in Kingston that same day. He's actually from St. Thomas. Now, that was another reason why we were sort of like, we probably won't, even deal with him because St. Thomas is really, really far from us, and you know, but we'll see. So another thing that we found out that we didn't even really need to be worried about the do the exchange at a police station because one, it is illegal in Jamaica for any transaction to be a cash transaction if it is $1 million or more. Now, um, even if your purchase is not $1 million, we were feeling uncomfortable with walking around with a bunch of cash anyway. Turns out, most people, the overwhelming majority of people who are selling a vehicle, don't expect you to be walking around with tons of cash in your hand. They don't want to be walking around with that. No, that's not even an issue anymore. It may have been an issue in the past. It is no longer an issue. So people do like wire transactions, wire transfers, or something like that. So we were, people were staring us. They didn't mean to scare us, but we were worried about that for nothing. That was not even an issue. That was a non-issue. Um, but at any rate, we kind of felt like, hey, it'll be better to go to a dealership. We can do the transaction. We can get the insurance right there because you have to have insurance before you like leave the lot. At least that's what we were told. So we get to Kingston, get up super early, get to Kingston's downtown Kingston, and get to the dealership. And let me tell you, this car looked good. This car looked good. Also, bring your mechanic with you. We were all told it, whether you're going to an importer or a dealership, buying from an individual, make sure you have a qualified mechanic with you to check the car out. So we had our mechanic friend with us, and this car looks good. We're like, this is it. In fact, we almost called the young man who was selling his vehicle to tell him, never mind, we're probably going to go this way, this route. Looked at the car, and when we opened up the hood, um, and it was nice and clean on the inside, our mechanic noticed like there's no water where it should be, the radiator, and there's no oil in the car. There's nothing. Can we even start the car? No, nothing was attached. No, nothing. There was another young couple who arrived there as well. They apparently had seen the same ad, and they were looking at that car as well as others. And we're all looking at each other like something is amiss here. Something's not right. And they were, oops, I can't find the fob, and oops, we're like, well, we want to give it a test drive. Well, and we're like, well, what is going on? And we're like, can we at least start the car? And we're, of course, our mechanic was like, you can't start this car. There's nothing even in it. It won't even come on. And I asked, how long had this car been here? Oh, not long. It just, we just got it, whatever. But the price had been marked down quite a bit from what we can see even when on the ad. Because they had written the amount on the windshield. It was less than what they were actually asking for. We were like, no, something's up. The other couple was like, no, something's up. Something's really, really wrong here. We were like, think we'll pause. But before we even said that we'll pause, all of a sudden the guy was like, "Oh, we can't sell this car to you anyway." He's turned his movies back on. We're like, "Oh, we can't sell this car to you anyway because someone has put money down on it." We're like, "Yeah, whatever, dude." I think he said that. I could be wrong. That he said that because he knew that we, as well as the other couple, wanted to give it a test drive, wanted to give it a go. We had a mechanic there with us and whatnot, and they knew that this car, there was a problem with this car. There were probably several problems with this vehicle. I mean, it's a used car, of course it's going to have some issues, but I think he knew that there was something up with that car. There was plenty up with that car, and that was not going to be a good sale. And so he claimed that, well, we can't sell you this car anyway because someone has already put some money down on it. Who puts some money down on a car that they have not seen in person, that they have not driven? We were like, whatever. We ended up calling the young man and said, "Hey, we told him where we were, and hey, can we link up anytime soon?" He said, "Yeah, we can link up in about I could be there in 5 minutes." We were like, perfect. He was in the same area. We met him. Nice young man, young businessman. Took the day off to do this transaction with us, hoping that it would go through. So we linked up with him. He was honest about what the issues were with the vehicle. He had already talked to my husband about it anyway, and showed us, this, that, and the other. We took it for a spin, gave a little test drive. Because of his job, we were able to go to different a gas station and put it on the rack and look under the car. Had our mechanic look under the car and to see anything that was wrong, what was right, and so forth and so on. So gosh, it was better dealing with him than it was with that dealership. So we went ahead with the ice cream truck. We went ahead and like, this sounds good. He made his offer. We knew what his offer was, and we did a counter and accepted. And we were like, it's a go. Let's good. Let's go for this. Well, as I said, he's in St. Thomas. We were in Kingston. So, and then he had forgotten to bring the title with him. So he was on the phone with his wife and said, "Hey, meet me. I'm gonna meet you somewhere, and we're gonna pick up the title. Go and get the title from the house." So we drove all the way to St. Thomas. And the roads were jacked up because the government is redoing the roads around like the main road around different parts of the island. And they say they're going to be done next year, but at the rate they're going, there's no way they're going to possibly be done. But at any rate, it took us so long to get from Kingston to St. Thomas. We needed to go to the bank first because, as you know, I always recommend for people to do online banking. And I was going to try and do that in this situation, but that ended up being an issue. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We wanted to go to the bank, get the money, do some kind of a wire transfer or get like a cashier's check or something. Then we were going to run to the insurance company, and then we were going to run to the tax office and get everything rolling. Well, by this time, the curfews are soon coming into effect. So it's late in the afternoon. Well, not that late. It's probably about 2 or something. We were in that bank, I tell you, for probably about 3 hours. I don't know. We got to the bank and there was crazy a line for the ABM and a line to get to a teller or a customer service rep. And so my husband decided, look, I'll stay in line, and then because I said, gosh, I wish I had my laptop or something. I could just do a wire transfer. And he was like, I have my laptop. And we're like, perfect. We ran to his car, and we were able to go to one of his offices and plug up the laptop, because he realized that he had left the laptop on and the battery had died. And then, because of his job, he has to change his password on his computer so much. My man forgot his password, and he was trying to figure out, what's my password? I couldn't get in. Couldn't get in the computer. We're like all frustrated. He finally got in the computer. He was even making calls. Do you know what my password could possibly be? And Raymond's calling us back and forth because he's still at the bank. Like, I'm getting closer to the line. Are you all, did that work? It didn't work. I got online to do the wire transfer. And because the banks here, which is good, they have so many security checks. There was some issue with one of the security checks for me to add him as a payee so that I can do a wire transfer. There's an app that you have to put on your phone. I think it's called now Secure ID. And for whatever reason, it wasn't working. So in order for me to add him as a payee, I then had to go on this app, pull up the Secure ID app, and then it would give me what they call an RSA number, and then I will put that number in, and then it will allow me to keep going and add him as a payee and do the wire transfer. It wasn't working. So at this point, Raymond's still at the bank. We run back to the bank, and this happened twice. We ran back and forth to the bank twice. By this time, Raymond has a ticket. Anytime you go to the bank, they're going to give you bank or tax office or wherever. You get a ticket with your number to let you know what place you are in line. We get back to the bank this last time around, and the customer service or manager comes out and telling all these people in line, because of the curfew that is about to happen, we cannot take any more people. So you all can please, we're very sorry, bear with us, but you're going to have to come back another day. Thankfully, Raymond had Raymond's number. He was already inside. I was like, we have a number, we're going inside. So they let us come inside, and I ended up telling her my situation. Like, I don't really want to see a customer service rep if I can get this whole situation straightened out. Once they found out that I do online banking, it was like, oh, you do online banking? Now, let me say this: you're in a line to get into the bank. Then, when you get into the bank, you're still in another line or queue, as they call, just to see a teller or a customer service rep. So there were all of these people sitting there waiting. We're getting anxious because we know curfew is soon about to start, and we still have to get to the insurance company, and we still have to get to the tax office. So we once I told her, I'm like, I showed her my situation. She said, oh, this shouldn't kick you out anyway. But like I said, when I told her that I do online banking, she put me ahead of all of those people that were sitting there, sorry, but I was happy she did that, because we were running right behind. And the poor young man, he was like so nervous. He was fidgeting like, oh my God, hurry up, hurry up. Long story short, we ended up getting like their version of a cashier's check. And I say their version of it because it's not quite a cashier's check. Even though the money comes directly out of my account, it still takes about 6 days or so to clear. So unlike a cashier's check, I don't think it works like that. I mean, once you have the money, you can put it in your account. You're good on that. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think that's the case. But at any rate, he was like, how do I know this check won't bounce? They're like, it won't bounce, sir. It's cash, so don't lose it. I mean, don't lose it, even though it was in his name and all that. And I had the receipt and all that jazz. So we got that part taken care of. And the whole problem was the bank. I mean, we were in this line for this bank for the longest of time. So we ran over, mind you, this is in St. Thomas. It took us a while to get from Kingston to St. Thomas, and we were in Morant Bay. We run over to this insurance company. And what you normally have to do, you cannot get car insurance without having the title stamped or something by the Jamaican tax office. And you cannot get the title transfer without having car insurance. So what you normally have to do is go to the tax office with the buyer and the seller. You complete the transfer, this part on the back of the title, or who you're transferring this title to, or you just sold this car to this person. And you do that, the buyer and the seller, in front of the tax officer, the tax rep. Well, because we were in such time constraints, we were like, he dropped us at the insurance agency, and he's like, we need insurance for this car. They need some car insurance. Can you at least get the paperwork started while I run to the tax office? And she's like, this title doesn't have the stamp on it. He's like, ma'am, please, we're in a situation, please. And so she had mercy on us, and she let us at least start the application process whilst he ran to the tax office. Now, mind you, we're supposed to be with him, but I don't know what he said to them at the tax office, but he got that part taken care of, got the stamp, and he came back. The tax stamp, as they did some writing on the title, he came back to the insurance company, and we got the paperwork going. Now, with respect to the insurance company, I would implore you to always have cash on you. When we were at the bank, I gotten some cash out, but so we're expecting to be able to set up this insurance and pay the fee with a debit card, credit card, or whatever. They happen not. This broker did not even accept that, so we had to give them cash. And so keep that in mind. There are a lot of businesses this just still don't have the capability of using credit cards or anything like that. So make sure you always have cash on you. And there was no way we were running back to an ATM. That job was not happening. So the application process was long. You're going to need, and I'm assuming that it's the same way with any insurance company here, but I'm guessing the insurance company that we got, you're going to need references. She at one point asked us to make sure we provided references who had that insurance. How are we going to know what kind of insurance and what insurance company people have? And we didn't even know that we would need a reference. I'm not sure whether they contact people or not anyway. We were like, we don't know what insurance people have. So we just put down our references and whatnot, and I was done with it. So she gave us a cover note, which is like partial insurance, not really partial insurance, but it's like starter insurance. We paid for the year, um, and because we didn't have enough cash on us, we paid for like part of the year. We have until the end of this year to pay for the remainder. So we got a year policy. We had the option of getting restricted or non-restricted drivers who will be covered. The restricted drivers mean just the owners of the car will be covered. Non-restricted is if anybody is driving the vehicle, they're covered. The price difference for restrictive and non-restrictive was so small. I think it was only like $2,000 that it just get non-restrictive. It just makes sense. I mean, I can't imagine that we're going to have anyone else using our car, but it was nominal. It was small. So we just went ahead and got non-restrictive coverage. When you get sort of like I think they call it third party coverage, which is kind of like in the States where it's like just liability or whatever, um, you get full coverage and all of that. That does not include, just keep in mind, if you get third party coverage only, that does not include if your car is stolen or if there's a fire. So that's a separate charge. We were in such a hurry, we just did not have time to go through all of the different options we had with respect to coverage. We were just trying to get back to the tax office. Um, so at any rate, just keep that in mind that if you when you get car insurance, if you're not getting full coverage, these things do liability or third party coverage does not cover you if you get into a car accident and the other person's at fault and they do not have insurance. It doesn't cover you for that. That's a separate fee altogether. At least that is what it is with our insurance, which was Advantage General or General Advantage. I'm fried right now. At any rate, that I'm trying to remember the total cost just to give you an idea of what that was for the year. Was probably about, I have it written down somewhere. Um, it was probably about 20. Yeah, it was just over 27,000 for the year for coverage like that, or for coverage like that. So not that expensive. Um, so we left there. There was no time to go back to the tax office. We were in St. Thomas. What our plan was to get back to the tax office, finalize the title transfer, then let them know, since we were doing this in St. Thomas, to transfer the title, to send the new title to the Portland office because we're in Portland. And but we didn't have time to get back to the tax office. It was closed by the time we left the insurance company. In fact, they were closing up, locking doors and stuff as we were heading out. By the time we finally got finished with the insurance company, at least we had a cover note. We had the title with the tax office's initial stamps on it to transfer the title. It was after 4 p.m. The curfew was at what, 7? Something like that. And we're all the way in St. Thomas. We had a little gas in the car. So we were like, I'm like, just fill her up. Get a lot of gas. And Rem's like, we need to get on the road because the roads are really, really bad because of all the construction, and we are really far away. So we got a little gas and we took off. And boy, were the roads bad. The road was bad. Some parts of it is almost done, and that is going to be nice. They're widening the roads, and yeah, that's what they're widening the roads, and they claim they're going to be done by next year. I'll say about 3 years tops, 3 years minimum, I should say, when they're going to be done with this road. But we took off, and so thankfully we had GPS on our phone. These cars, a lot of the cars here come from Japan. There may be a GPS on the car, but it's set for Japan, and it doesn't even work here. So we have the GPS on our phone, as most people do. We took off. Oh my God, it was rough. You get to riding on these roads and you see these big, giant sized potholes or these smaller potholes that are super deep that you almost don't see until you're up on it. It is now getting dark. It doesn't stay, but it starts getting dark around 6 o'clock or so. It's dark. We're in an area we don't know that well. We're on the bad roads and we are far from home. And we're looking at our GPS. I'm like, is it really going to take us 3 hours? No! Oh my God. Yeah, we took off. Raymond's handling the car and all that, but we got to Long Bay and the gas light came on. And now, when the light comes on, you still have gas in the car, but it's just significantly low. And each car is different. You don't know how low it is when the gas light comes on. And we're like, oh my God, we're nowhere near where we need to be. And there's the shutdown with a curfew. And so we're taking off and we just have to keep going. We finally happened upon one gas station. I don't even remember where we were. Of course, it was completely closed. We're going and going and going. Finally, we make it to Port Antonio. We're like, yes, made it. Get in front of the gas station. There are people around and all that jazz. The gas station's closed. All of the gas stations are closed. We have no gas. We're still not home. And my phone is completely dead. Raymond has a little juice on his phone, and our family hasn't heard from us since early in the morning. And they're wondering, what in the world is going on? And sometimes when we're in certain parts of the island, the phone just doesn't work. Even if you go to call, the phone will never ring. So apparently they have been calling us and never getting us, and so they were terrified. So we were able to let them know, look, we're in Porty, we're fine, we don't have any gas. Do you know of a hotel we can stay in? Because we couldn't make it home. We couldn't make it home. So we ended up staying at this hotel called Demontevan, something like that. Demontevan Lodge Hotel. It's a very, very old hotel. The building has been there, and I think it's always been a hotel for like 140 years. 140 years. Mind you, we don't have any more money. We have just a little money. ABMs are closed. I think in Portland, the ABM at NCB, they had one outside, but they did some remodeling or something, and there's no ABM outside. So I believe that it was closed. We can get into the building anyway. So we ended up going to the hotel and we're explaining to them, we don't really have any money. We'll pay you in the morning. It's like, cool. They were so nice, so very nice. And we were chit-chatting with them and we're like, also, do you know any place that's open? It's shut down. Every place was pretty much closed. Well, the young man who worked there, he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Let me show you some rooms. You pick your room. These are very, very old rooms. They're not nothing fancy about them. But we got the room that we wanted, and she even discounted us on the price. He walked us over to a little place that was, selling some food and whatnot. And he was like, okay, let me walk you back to the hotel. You get get all situated. I'll go and get your food and bring it back. These people were so nice, so kind. Like I said, the hotel is very, very old, but I tell you, the room was clean. It didn't have any funny smells. You know how sometimes you go in a really old building, it has very mildewy smell. It was nothing like that. We had our nice little shower. That food was probably the best food I ever had. I was just really hungry. It was good. And we had a good night's sleep. We were able to get up in the morning. Since we were already in Porty and it was super early in the morning, we were able to get our number to go to the tax office, which people were already getting their numbers. I had to get our number to go to the ABM. And then we started the whole transferring of the title. When the tax we got there before the tax office actually even opened, but they were already passing out numbers. Remember, I told you, anytime you have to go someplace, you're going to get a number so that you can get in the queue, so that because they're not going to let everybody in because of COVID. So we got in. Thankfully, we were there pretty early. And she's like, "Hey, why didn't you finish this in St. Thomas?" We're like, "Because it was the curfew and we had to get back home." She was kind of giving us a little bit of a hard time, but I was like, "What, are you not going to transfer the title or whatever?" She was just giving us a hard time. But so I guess it was a legitimate question. Why didn't you finish this in St. Thomas? So she has to fill out based on the title and the car insurance that we provided her. She completed this application for us, and then we had to pay for the transferring of the title. Now I wrote that down too. I hope I have it. Yes. So the cost to transfer the title, there was a transfer fee of $900, and then there's the license fee of 1,200 $12,600, and then there's your plate fee of $2,700, and then there's the application motor vehicle title transfer fee or something, and that was $1,620. So we had to pay all of that, and our title will be ready in about 3 weeks. And of course, it will be at the office that is closest to us. Another thing that you would have to get when you are buying a car is a fitness certificate. We already had a fitness certificate on this vehicle that was still valid, so we didn't have to renew that. You can renew it, start the renewal process 1 month, when it is about to expire. So, and you can do that online at the tax website, the Jamaica tax website. You pay the fee, then you take it to a I don't think you could take it to any mechanic, but you have to take it to specific mechanics who then verify that the car is fit to be on the road. You then take that back to the tax office, your proof that you paid and the certification or whatever from the mechanic, and then you get what they call a fitness certificate, and you keep that in your car as well. When we have to do that process, I will let you know how that went. But that is the whole crazy, long, drawn out story of us getting our vehicle. We are pleased with it. We were pleased with the entire process, with going the route with this young man, buying it from him and his wife. And this is another funny side note. When you're looking at ads for cars, you'll see a lot of ads that says lady driven. I, I guess they want you to know that this wasn't driven by some young man who's driving reckless or something. And also, I want to say that insurance, for your car insurance, you would get a discount if it's a woman driver over a male driver. I don't know. It may be the same way in the States too. I know there's a difference in age if you're a younger person as opposed to an older person. But yeah, if you're a woman, the insurance, you can get a discount for your car insurance for being a woman as opposed to a male. That's it. But yeah, that was the whole harrowing experience. That 3-hour ride was crazy. And what's funny is some parts of the drive, the road curves and whatnot. You would get to some points. We would gotten to some points where there was a fork in the road, and gosh, you can tell which was the main road and which wasn't. And thankfully, we had our GPS on, because once we did get off the main road, and it makes that noise when you change the route, and and something like that, and that's how we knew, oh, okay, that was the main road. Then we got to one place where it was a three-way fork. We're like, I don't even know which way to go. They look the same. We just happen to have gone the right place. So if you are driving, thankfully here, the GPS works. But if you don't know where you are, put that GPS on. It will at least, you can easily get lost, even on the main roads, I tell you. But Raymond said that, look, if we ever have to go back to St. Thomas or some place like that. We are not going that route until they fix that road, because that was just crazy. That was crazy. But I'm glad it's over. I'm glad we have a car. I'm glad we finally have very good internet. Yeah, so that is our experience. I hope you all out. I know it's long and drawn out and kind of worried, but yeah, it was something. It was quite the experience. But we are pleased with both the vehicle and with our internet. So that's the steps that you'll have to take. So I hope this was helpful to you. I do want to tell you all a little bit about where we are with respect to our container. Like I say, we are 7 weeks in. We do have some movement. I wanted to do a video on that when we have a little bit more movement. Um, so I will do that. I will tell you this much. Our container is no longer in Chicago. It's moving. It's on the way. We finally have some movement. But I'll give you more details on that when I have a little bit more detail to give. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. That's all I have on our update with respect to our internet and with respect to our vehicle. If you've not done so, please go back and give my other videos a watch, a like, a comment, and share them as well. Again, thank you very much. Love, joy, and health to you. Until we meet again, stay conscious and stay connected. Peace.